Are these the big fourth graders? Is that what you guys are?
Yeah.
Yes,
Are you guys smarter than a fifth grader?
Yes.
Okay, we're going to find out and see. Have you guys learned some things so far today?
Yes,
You
sir.
have? What have you learned? Just one person. What have you learned?
I learned about officer, how they got their job, and
That's okay. So you learned how an officer got a job?
how to get hired.
How to get hired. Okay. All right, one more. What did you learn?
About human nervousness.
The human nervous system. That's important stuff, isn't it? Stuff you would never think about, right? Isn't that pretty cool? Well, listen, I'm going to go over some stuff. I'm going to go over some about cars, right? And what you can do in the car business. But the one thing I want to talk about even more is I want to make sure that you guys understand what it takes to be successful. Okay, what it takes for you to do the things you're supposed to do. So when you grow up, okay, all the things you may believe in yourself, some things you may not believe in yourself. I also want to tell you a little bit about me, because most of you guys know that I own a Toyota dealership, right?
Yes.
Okay, but I want you to know that I didn't always own the Toyota dealership, right? Like when I was a baby, like a little baby, they didn't give me a Toyota dealership. I had to do a whole bunch of things before I got the Toyota dealership. Y'all understand that? But I want to show you that when I was your age, 3rd, 4th, 5th grade, 6th grade, I want to show you kind of what I went through that y'all may not believe. You may not even know, and so it can give you some hope and understanding that, you know what, if that guy can do it, maybe I can do it. But for you, it may not be a car dealership. For you, it may be you want to play ball in college. For you, it may be you want to write music. For you, it may be you want to draw. For you, you may want to be an author. Who knows? You may want to be a veterinarian. It's all the same if it's something that you really want to do, okay? So I want to play this video for you real quick. All right, hopefully it'll work real well, and then we'll get started.
Dismissed from drama school with a note that read, "Wasting her time. She's too shy to put her best foot forward." Turned down by the Decca Recording Company, who said, "We don't like their sound, and guitar music is on the way out." A failed soldier, farmer, and real estate agent. At 38 years old, he went to work for his father as a handyman. Cut from the high school basketball team, he went home, locked himself in his room, and cried. A teacher told him he was too stupid to learn anything, and he should go into a field where he might succeed by virtue of his pleasant personality. Fired from a newspaper because he lacked imagination and had no original ideas. His fiancée died, he failed in business twice, he had a nervous breakdown, and he was defeated in 8 elections. If you've never failed, you've never lived.
We're talking about a little bit of failure, huh? Right? You're talking about, like you see that where you're talking about Michael Jordan, right? What did Michael Jordan do? He got cut from what?
Baseball.
And he went home and what did he do?
Cried.
He cried. He was upset. So you ever think when you fail at something that you may think to yourself, man, the world's coming to an end. I thought I was going to be good at something and then I didn't do it. And then you feel humiliated, you feel embarrassed, and then you lose confidence, don't you? And then other people may say stuff to you and then all of a sudden you may start to believe it, right? That's the stuff you got to eliminate, whether it's in school or whether it's when you graduate. These are things that are never going to change in life. As an adult, I still have people tell me I can't do something. It still happens. When I was coming up, I got a couple of pictures here. I'm from Miami, Florida. I'm not from Milledgeville. You know, just briefly, when I was your age, 4th, 5th, 6th grade, my mom remarried, my father left, and my mom remarried, and the man that she remarried was a very tough guy. Okay? And what I mean by tough is his disciplinary action, he was pretty physical, right? So he used to get in fights with my mom, and then and I'd be involved in it, right? My mom liked to drink a whole bunch. Mom drank every night. Always drinking, always drinking, always drinking. And sometimes she'd even do some drugs. So when you're in that environment, is that a good environment for a 6th, 7th, 8-year-old, 9-year-old, 10-year-old? It's not, is it? Unfortunately, maybe not some of you in the room, but there are some kids in this school and some kids in Baldwin County that kind of go through the same stuff, believe it or not. And so what you have to focus on, number one, if it's not you, thank goodness. But if you have something that's in your environment, I want you to know it's not where you start in life that's important, it's where you finish. I want you to also know that your environment right now does not dictate whether you succeed or fail. Otherwise, if that was the case, I would have failed a long time ago. Now, I have failed a whole bunch along the way. In fact, I'm going to give you a couple of stories. Before I even bought a car dealership, I went to college to play college football, and I wanted to be in the NFL. One of the biggest regrets I ever had is I dropped out of college. Dropped out of college. Got my high school diploma. We're going to talk about the importance of that, because without that, you got nothing. But I dropped out of college, and I knew I didn't want to go back home. I left when I was 18 years old from Miami, and I've never been home since. So for me, it was all about how am I going to make it in this world? What am I going to do? Right? If mommy and daddy's not feeding you, who's got to feed you?
You.
Yourself.
Yeah. Right? It's like kind of like if mommy and daddy's not going to do your homework, who's got to do it?
You.
You do. And that's something. Personal responsibility. It's not mommy's responsibility to do it. It's not daddy's responsibility or grandma's, is it? It's yours. And the faster you realize that, the better off you're going to be. The more you realize that you have to take personal responsibility for everything that goes on in your life, good or bad, the better off you're going to be. I dropped out of college and here I am. Y'all recognize this place, Lowe's?
Yeah.
We got one of those down the street, don't we? But I didn't work at that Lowe's. See, that Lowe's has an air conditioning and it's kind of comfortable when you walk in. I worked at the plant where we loaded all the trucks to take all the stuff to Lowe's. And what I did was my job as an 18-year-old kid, my job was to work from 6 p.m. in the afternoon to 6 a.m. So you know when y'all are getting home and getting showers, getting ready to go to bed, you sleep all night. Well, I was working all night from 6 p.m. to 6 in the morning. When y'all are getting up for school at 6 a.m., I was just coming off work. I did that Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 3 days in a row, so you work 36 hours. So I'm loading trucks. So in my mind, I'm way, way far away from buying a car dealership, wasn't I? Way far away. In fact, my job was I used to have this cart that I would take and they gave me every day when I checked in, I clocked in, they gave me a stack of stickers. All those stickers had numbers on them. I had to physically read the number, go find the aisle. This was a mile-long warehouse. I had to go find the aisle, go find the box, take the sticker off, put it on the box, take the box off, put it on, and I had to do that all night long. That's all I did for 12 hours. Pretty fun job, huh? No. Not too fun. But that's what I did. Why? Because I had to put food on the table. And if I wasn't going to do it, who was going to do it?
Nobody.
Nobody. So I had to take responsibility. So then I worked at Lowe's. Now mind you, I don't have a car dealership yet. I'm 19 years old. I'm all by myself in Georgia. I don't know anybody. Family's in Florida. And some guy said, you need to come work at Chili's. So I go work at Chili's. Y'all like Chili's? Oh yeah, I like Chili's. Y'all hungry?
Yeah.
I like Chili's. So I worked at Chili's and I was waiting tables. I still was far away from buying a car dealership. Still was far away. And I met some guy that was in the car business and he said, you know what? You'd be good at selling cars. And I said, man, I don't know anything about selling cars. You'd be good at selling. So I got in the car business at 20 years old. All right? So how in the world was I able to get from 20 years old, now I'm 39 years old, and I own a car dealership? That's what I want to talk to you about. Remember when I first started in South Florida, in the situation, the environment that I had, and then going to college, dropping out of college, and working at this job, working at that job, I'm far away from buying a car dealership. So that's what I want to talk to you about as we get into it. I want to tell you that's very important. But before we do, I want to tell you what's important about the importance about when you want to get a job. Okay, you've heard chiropractors, you've heard policemen, you've heard Toyota dealers, right? You've heard attorneys, right?
Yes.
So let me tell you what I think. It doesn't matter what job you want to get. The very first important thing you got to have is what? What does that say right next to it?
No exceptions.
Okay? If you ever think about dropping out of school, ever think about that, will be the worst mistake you could ever make in your life. It'll be the worst mistake you ever made. So don't ever do that. You can't get a job without a high school diploma. Very, very few places will do that. If you come to interview with me and you dropped out of school, I would immediately think to myself, if you didn't have what it took to go through high school with a bunch of teachers that would help you out, how are you going to sell cars to the customers I serve and not quit on me? Does that make sense? You got to have that. The next thing is a nice appearance. Now, a lot of people think a nice appearance means nice clothes. That's not what I'm talking about. A nice appearance means make the best of what you have. That means get your hair cut. That means whatever shirt you got, wear it, tuck it in, wear a belt, pull your pants up to where they're supposed to be. Look sharp, smell okay, brush your teeth. Use the best of what you have. You're going to go interview with somebody and get a job. You want to present yourself and be as presentable as you possibly can be. Right? So you got to remember that. The next thing is, here's a fancy term. This is what they use in the business world. Minimal background issues. You know what that means? That means basically, don't get in trouble with the law. That means you can't have any problems with policemen. You can't steal. You can't get in fights. You can't mess with any kind of drugs. You can't do anything you're not supposed to do that goes to the level of getting to the police officers. Do you all understand that? You cannot get a job if you come to somebody and we look at your background check and you got something on there, you cannot get a job. Well, if you're 18 years old on your own like I was and you can't get a job, and we already discussed that it's your responsibility to feed yourself, but you can't get a job, how are you going to feed yourself? You don't feed yourself, you ain't going to live, are you? Alright, it's that simple. Alright? The next thing is you got to have attitude, right? A positive, good attitude. We're going to talk about it a little bit further about how that plays a part. But I want to hit these three real quick. Just talking about going to get a job. It doesn't matter what job you're going to get. Energy, enthusiasm, and confidence. Those three things are very, very important. And those three things are not talent things. Those are choices. You can choose to have energy. Hey, do y'all like the show America's Got Talent?
Yeah.
Oh, how about, oh, here's a good one. How about the other one, So You Think You Can Dance?
Yes.
Aren't those cool? Right, you watch them, you know, they break dance, they do all kind of things, or they sing, right? Isn't that cool? Let me ask you something. When you see them, do you think they're enthusiastic and they've got a lot of good energy and they look like they're confident?
Yes.
Right? That's what I'm talking about. Okay? You know when you guys watch basketball games or a football game like LeBron James, he may come and dunk a ball and he may get in the crowd and do one of these like this and everybody goes crazy and we all love watching good athletics, right? We love watching good sports, right? Why do we like that?
It's exciting.
Yeah, it's exciting. You know what it really is because really God made you. He made you just as incredible, and so sometimes we're attracted to greatness. When we see greatness, we like it ourselves because we know down deep we can do the same thing. That's why we love it so much. But when you're talking about energy and enthusiasm and confidence, if you come to get a job with somebody and you're lethargic and you're moping around and you're negative and you got no kind of energy, nobody's going to hire you. Same thing if you play sports, you're cheerleading, you're on the volleyball team, you're playing football, you're on the basketball team. You can't go very far with no energy, no enthusiasm. You can't mope around on the basketball court. You ready to play ball? Yeah, I'm ready. Yeah, I'm ready. How are you going to play ball like that? Does that make sense? Right? You can't do it like that. So those are important things. The first one is what? Alright, that's one of the most important things you've got to remember. Okay, real quick, let me talk about things you didn't even know about the car business. So you learned about attorneys and policemen and some other things, chiropractors and so forth. Look at all the jobs you can get in the car business. The first thing you can do is some of you like to draw. Some of you like to do stuff on the computer. You can work for the manufacturer. Toyota, not a dealership, the manufacturer, designing cars, right? Doing things on the computer, right? Developing those cars, research, develop, that's cool, right? You could work at a car dealership, or you could, at the plant, you could actually build the cars. Some of you guys like to put things together. If you come to the dealership, you can be a technician. You guys know we work on cars, right? So you can learn how to work on cars. You can sell cars, that's where I started, where you can just learn to sell your product to customers that want to buy Toyotas or whatever brand you may want to sell. If you like math, some of you may like math, you're really good with numbers, you can work in the accounting office. Some of you guys may like Instagram and Facebook and all this other kind of stuff. I don't know what's out there. People like all that social stuff. You can work in our internet department, right? People that go through the internet to buy cars. How about cleaning cars? Some of you guys like clean cars? Like to detail a car nice? We got a detail shop. Did y'all have any idea there's this many jobs in a car dealership?
Nope.
There's a whole bunch in there. Right? So those are the kind of things. So a lot of people will say, well, how much money can I make? A lot of people will say that. Well, if you work for If you work with dealerships, you can have an hourly wage. If you work for the manufacturer, you can make a lot of money in the automobile industry. But you know what you can't do? You can't work for the auto industry if you don't have a what? You got a high school diploma, you can't work for them. Cannot work for them. Hey, you know what? If you wanted to be a chiropractor, you know what you can't do if you don't have? If you ain't got a high school diploma, you can't be a chiropractor. Can't happen. If you want to be an attorney, what do you think you got to have? Elite, you got to have that. Okay? So it's very important. I want you to understand something, okay? Your attitude is everything. And listen to this. If you worked at McDonald's, how can I take you from the fries to the Whopper Flopper? How can I promote you from doing the fries to the burgers if you don't do the fries well? Can't do it, can I? No. So how can I take you from 4th grade to 5th grade if you don't do your school studies well? No. How can I get you from 7th grade to 8th grade if you don't do your schoolwork well? It doesn't work that way. Life doesn't work that way. You can't get promoted, you can't move forward unless you get better with what you're doing, okay? Alright, this is a big one here. I want you to understand the difference. There are two types of people in the world. There's two types of people in the world, okay? Listen to me now. There's two types of people. There are people that look for jobs, and there's people that look for careers. Like all your teachers and principals, they're in a career. They're in a career because they found this. What is this right here? Passion. Once you find your passion, you go from a job to a career. Once you do something you love, it's almost no longer a job because you enjoy doing it. You can look for a job when you get older, or you can look for a career. So if I were to take every single one of you one-on-one, one by one, and I say, look, tell me what you love. If we talk about the most thing you love more than anything in the world, what would it be? And you sat and talked with me, whatever it is you talked about, sports, music, dance, reading, I don't know what it would be. That is passion. You already know what I'm talking about. Right now you're thinking in your seat. Right now you know what I'm talking about. Whatever it is that gets you excited. Could be video games. Why not? Why not be a video game programmer? Why not create video games? I mean, there's so much stuff that can happen with technology nowadays. There's no reason why not. But again, you got to make sure that you got to find the passion. Okay? So if you look at all these people, you guys know some of these people, don't you? You know some of them?
Eminem.
Right? You think that's Eminem? That's close. That's right. That's right. I know you're right. All right, these guys are on a career track. Okay, but here, I want to warn you though. Check this out. I'm almost done. I want to warn you something, okay? How many of you go to church in here? Okay, that's very important. Very important. Okay, listen to me. Listen to me. You need to know something, okay? You need to know something. In your life, just like I discussed in my life, troubles are going to come your way. You know how I know that?
No.
Because the Bible says that. Okay, it says that when troubles come your way, make sure you count it all joy. Make sure you gain some endurance and your faith gets stronger. Right? When you have troubles, it should make you stronger. Right? But notice what it says is it says when troubles come. It doesn't say if. There's a big difference. If means it's in question. When means is it's coming. Right? So here's what I want you to understand. You're in 4th grade, right? So when you get to 5th grade, what do you think is going to come? Trouble. You're going to have a few troubles. It's just going to happen. It could be at home. It could be struggling in reading of something. It could be who knows what. Your AR. I don't know what it could be. When you get to 7th grade, what do you think is going to happen?
Trouble. Get hard.
A little bit. When you get your first year of college, what do you think is going to happen?
Get trouble.
And then you get married like me. You know what you get?
Trouble.
You get troubles. It happens. Here's what I want to tell you. They never stop. The key is how you handle the circumstances. This is the key right here. So right there, I'm giving you a warning sign. Right? I'm giving you a warning sign that you guys have greatness within you. You guys can become everything you want, but even knowing that you got it within you, don't be discouraged when what comes your way? That's right. Don't be discouraged. Don't be discouraged because you already know it's coming. It only discourages you when you didn't know it was coming. Right? So if you get cut from a team or you didn't make the A, you end up getting a C, or who knows what upsets you, it's not the end of the world. You learn more from failures than you do successes. The key is how you bounce back from the trouble. Right? I could give you an analogy. I've given it in every class. I guess I give the same analogy here, of course. It was a 5th grade. So y'all mature enough to handle this?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay? What I'm about to say, I don't mean. What I'm about to say, I don't mean. Y'all with me? So I want you to understand the concept. I don't want anybody to laugh. Hold your laughter because what I'm about to say, I don't mean. Okay? Alright, so if I'm talking to you right now, and y'all don't know me, we're talking about circumstance. This is how fast circumstance can happen. And the key is how you respond to the circumstance. That's the key. It's not the circumstance, how you respond. I'm going to prove it to you. If I said to him, which I do not mean because he's a handsome guy, okay, let me tell you, if I said to you, hey man, I don't know who you are, but man, of all the dudes in here, man, you got to be the ugliest dude in the room. Alright, now I didn't mean that, but I want to show you an example. Listen to what I'm saying. He's definitely not the ugliest dude in the room. But listen to what, that's the circumstance. Are y'all with me? I just said something to him. That's the circumstance. He's got 3 decisions. He's got 3 choices. In his mind, he can say to himself, man, you don't know me, and you don't know anything about me, and when you're done with this, I'm about to take you outside. That's what the second choice he can make is he can say, man, I'll be honest with you, man, I have never had my feelings hurt like that in front of a group of people my whole life, and I am crushed inside. Right? He can feel that way. Or the third response could be, man, you don't have a clue who you're talking to. I'm so smooth, every girl likes me in the whole school. All right, now let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. What would be the right response?
The last one.
The third one? The third one. All right, listen. All right, listen. Y'all said y'all can handle it. That was a 5th grader thing. I gave it to the 4th grade. Y'all said you can handle it. Look, the right response would be, the circumstance was I called him out. Right? I called him out in front of the group. The right circumstance was for him to take it in a positive way and say, you don't even know who I am. I could date anybody I wanted to. That's the right response. The wrong response to a circumstance would be, hey man, I'm about to fight you. That's the wrong response. Right? I'm not saying he wouldn't get angry. I'm not saying most people wouldn't do it, but here's what I'm telling you. When scenarios and circumstances like that happen to you, and you're in the hallway, and somebody calls you out, or something happens, you've got choices, right? You can say, girl, what'd you say to me? What'd you say? And you can say, we take it to the bathroom. Or you can say whatever you want, and you know that's the wrong response. You know you're about to get in trouble. You know, right? But in your mind, the circumstance was, she just embarrassed me, and it's getting ready to get ugly, right? The right response would be to have that self-confidence and realize that's just circumstance. All right? So it's very, very important for you to understand that. Okay, we get ready to go to questions. Here's the last thing. You guys want to be successful, right? You guys want to be successful?
Yes, sir.
Huh?
Yes, sir.
All right, listen. All right, listen. Listen to me. Y'all ain't listening. Y'all ain't listening. Okay? Success is very, very subjective. Let me tell you what that word means. I'm going to teach you a word. Y'all know what subjective means? Y'all may already know that word.
No.
You don't know? Okay, let me tell you what that means. Okay. If I ask you, what's an expensive car, what would you say? Hold on. Well, how much money is an expensive car? $2,000. How much is an expensive car? Yeah, how much is an expensive car? Huh? $1 million? Okay. How much is an expensive car? 15 minutes. Okay. All right, hold on. Did I ask a different question or did I ask the same question? Why did I get 3 different answers?
Because everybody has an opinion. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So listen to what I'm telling you. Listen to what I'm telling you. That's what's called being subjective. Success is very subjective. A lot of people think success is all about money. It's not. To some people, success is money. To some people, success is quality time and spending time with family. To some people, success, is serving at the church. Y'all understand that? So what I'm telling you is when I say if you guys want to be successful, I'm not talking about money. Okay, I'm not saying money's not part of being successful, but I'm saying I'm not talking about that. Okay, I want you to understand that here's the keys to being successful. The first key is you got to do what?
Keep God first.
Keep Him first, right? Keep God first. If you keep God first, that means you take yourself out of first place. That's the whole reason for that. When you start thinking it's all about you, that's when we start having troubles. Okay? So keep God first. What's the second one? Alright, so the most important thing, if you remember one thing, what's the one thing you got to remember? You got to have your what? High school diploma. That's what you got to have, okay? The third thing is what? ETC, right? Yeah. Hey, listen to me. Here's what I want you to know. Don't have idle time. Okay? Idle time is not good to sit around and do nothing. Get in the rec center, get in the youth group, get with campus Milledgeville, do sports, do band, do music. Y'all understand what I'm saying? Keep yourself occupied other than schoolwork. You don't want to just be hanging out doing nothing. Exactly. Positive stuff. Okay, here's a big one, and some of the guys may not like this one. Well, what's the next one? Relentlessly. You know what that means? You know what relentlessly means? That means a lot. Let me tell you, when I was your age, I didn't even like to speak in front of people. When we used to have to read out loud, I'd be embarrassed. I would stutter. I would never read in front of people. One of the biggest things that I've ever done that helped me is when I learned and understood the power of reading. Okay, and for me, I wanted to own a business, so I read every single book I could get my hands on that was about somebody who came from nothing, who operated a business. How did they do it? If you read,
they started at a low age.
That's right. And what you'll find is if you'll read books, okay, if you'll read books, the books will teach you the things you need to know. So you got to read. Very, very important. We're talking about success. You got to read. Okay? The next thing is push yourself beyond your limits as often as you possibly can. Here's what that means. You're doing your math worksheet. You got 10 problems. You got 6 of them knocked out, you got 2 of them wrong, and you got 4 more to go. Do you feel like doing that math worksheet?
No.
Some of you do, some of you don't. But you know what you got to do? You got to push yourself and do the math worksheet. Keep pushing yourself. And matter of fact, you may want to do an extra one. The more you push yourself, the better you're going to be. Okay? If you're playing sports and the coach said we got to run a few sprints, when you're done running the sprints, run another one. If you're lifting weights and you're doing 10 reps, listen to me, you're doing 10 reps and you're on 7, 8, 9. What's the toughest one?
10.
No. 11. 11. You got to push yourself beyond your limits. That's what I'm talking about. Some people stop at 10. You need to go to 11. Does that make sense? Push yourself. All right. The last one is obedience, respect, and sowing and reaping. Let me tell you, it's really, really important. Okay? Be obedient. Listen to the teachers. Listen to the coaches. Listen to your grandma. Listen to your parents. Okay? Be very respectful. And understand the power of sowing and reaping. You know what that means? When a farmer plants, what does he get after he plants? He gets some food, right? But in order to get the food, what does he got to do? Got to grow it. So if you're going to become a better AR reader, what you got to do? Read. You got to read. You got to read. That's sowing and reaping. If you don't read, you don't get better. Right? All right. Any questions you guys have for me? I got the question and answer. If you guys have any, I don't know what your time looks like.
2 minutes.
Well, it's up to y'all. We can close it now.
Mark?
Like, do you have to have a college GED to get a job?
A college? Well, there's two different things. A college degree or a GED.
GED.
You need to at least have a GED, but I would recommend that you just get your high school diploma. That's what you need to get.
A GED says you did not finish high school.
Yeah, we're
a
not
high
gonna
school
get
diploma
GEDs,
says we don't want GEDs, we want high school diplomas.
Correct.
GED says you quit high school and then you decided to try to take the test. The key word was quit. We don't want that.
We don't want that. Yes, ma'am.
When you sell the car, do you keep money that they give you when you sell the money?
Well, we don't keep all the money because there's a cost to the car, so not all the money goes to profit, but most of the money that we have, it has to pay for the advertising. You know, you hear all the radio commercials and the TV commercials. So all the monies really go back to the advertising, the business, paying out the people that work. We got to pay the employees, so a lot of the money's used in other places. Wish we could keep it all. Wish. All right, one more.
When you work by yourself or do you have people build yourself?
That's a good question. I work with a bunch of people. We've got 45 employees, and we all work together for the same goal. We all have different jobs, different positions, but we all work together to try to accomplish the same goal. Teamwork. Is that it?
Sounds good. Let's give him a round of applause and thank you. We appreciate, and I wrote down and put on my board, do you have good energy, enthusiasm, and confidence? Those are some words we're going to focus on
There
the
you
next
go.
few weeks.
There you go.
I have.
So we thank you
Oh,
for
you're very
coming.
welcome.
If you need to slide, you can slide out the side door.
That'll